I've been talking to the silence, it answers back slow. Echoes of my demons in the places I don't go. Scars in my mirror, stories I don't show. Trying to fix the cracks before the pieces explode. Yeah, I've been walking through the weather in my head. Rain falls heavy when you're sleeping with regret. But I ain't trying to drown, I'm just learning how to swim. Every tear I cry, turn a fire from within. I don't wanna fake fight anymore. Tired of fighting battles I ignored. If I'm broken, I'm still whole enough to grow. And I know, I'm just trying to find my way home. Through the pain, through the unknown. If I fall, don't let me go. We can heal, we can grow. It's a lonely road, but I'm not alone. If you're walking too, then we'll find home. I remember nights I couldn't breathe, no sound. Head full of thunder, heart on the ground. Every time I called out, no one was around. Now I'm building peace from the pieces I found. Yeah, it's messy, but it's real this time. No mess, no act, just my mind. Learning how to love what's been scarred and confined. Cause even pain got a place in the climb. I don't wanna fake fight anymore.
Welcome back to the Lonely Road, boys.
Hello.
It is weird timing watching that and just enjoying it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's been a blast to work on things and kind of have fun here, but it's been one of those times where it's just like overwhelming almost, but goddamn.
Yeah, kind of figuring out what works for us.
It's been a weird fucking time, man. It really has. Welcome back to the Lonely Road. We're on your path and journey to heal and become a better human, as all of us are.
Oh
How
yeah,
have you guys been, KJ?
I've been doing well. We want to take our trauma and healing, and in the doing that, we want to try to help other people move forward in their lives. There are a lot of people stuck. We're finding, and not a lot of places to go to find information or ways to push forward. So I think that being the premise of this podcast is it. I'm very good, Zach. I'm having a good time. Got to go back to work tomorrow. I'm going to hit it hard this week. I just came off a vacation, so I'm doing all right. Doing all right. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It is finally the calm before the chaos, man. And like you can feel it. You can feel that you're just waiting for that storm to fucking start. And dude, it is so surreal. I'm doing things that thoroughly I think everybody genuinely around me thoroughly realizes this too. I don't expect anything to go the way that it's going.
No.
And it just feels so, it's not even like, oh, everything's no, everything feels uncomfortable. I don't fucking understand why it's happening the way that it is, but god damn it, it feels like it's going to, and it feels like things are going to be right again. And god damn it, I cannot wait.
Good.
Because finally being able to be so clear-headed that I'm out of this fucking fog and this storm and everything else, that I will be okay.
Oh yeah.
And it feels weird.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just there's a quiet power in the beforehand of it all. It's very surreal. It's very surreal, and I think, that's a good segue to talk about what we're talking about today, which is basically, what it means to admit guilt. Sometimes there's guilt, and instead of "I love you" or "I'm sorry," maybe the words are "I was wrong." Sometimes in a situation you were wrong and things aren't working out the way you thought they would work out. And it just happens over and over again. And then you don't expect things to go the way that, or the path that they may go. It's why is it so hard, for people to take accountability? Why are we afraid of what'll happen? Are we afraid of what'll happen? If we do take accountability and say, hey, I did that, I was wrong. I messed up. How can you make that honesty the bridge between, make it the story? How can that be the bridge between the healing and the relationships, and making things stronger within ourselves? That's what today is about. So that's what we're we're going to be focusing
I
on.
think it's not only just running from accountability, they are afraid to take it on their ego. Their ego is, I have to be right, I have to do everything this way or that way, and it comes into such a point of like, oh my god, this dictates everything that trickles down from here. And it's like, you could fix it. And a lot of people genuinely don't see that. A lot of people don't feel like admitting fault or admitting guilt is like this big nuanced thing to start working on things to be fixed, when they feel like they don't have to fix anything to begin with. It becomes so surreal. Like, it is the weirdest thing in the world.
Yeah, you can actually take back control of the story, instead of letting pride or fear write it for you. So, you can, if you stop defending your faults and start learning from them, there's a certain power that can absolutely come from that. So admit, learning to admit when you're wrong. Why don't you? That ego. You don't want to. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to have that egg on your face, but it takes having that egg on your face a few times for you to wipe it off and be like, I don't want this feeling anymore. You know?
Exactly. I think it starts off with the biggest thing is trying to not put yourself in those situations to begin with.
Mm.
Is It's not just saying your perception of what's going on without starting, in my opinion, or I feel. If you feel something, if you think that's how something happened, that is how you should start off that sentence every single fucking time, regardless of how consistent it is. If it's your perception of it, in my opinion, is the way to fucking handle that situation of like, oh, in my opinion, this, and this happened. If it's factual, you say it as a fact. It's not like, and that, regardless, like, you can be held accountable for your opinions, but the facts of how something happened is completely different. The facts of how something happened makes you feel those things.
Yeah, I think it's a difference. There's a big difference between, how you feel about a situation and th- th- what actually happened in the situation. And I think there's a bridge that can be made between the two. It's just a, do you want to swallow your pride? People are allowed to have their feelings. You're allowed to feel however way you need to feel about a certain situation. You don't need to live there, but you do need to work through it in your own way. So I think that accountability is that bridge between who we are right now, and who we want to be. That's the work. That's the work that you have to put in. You're allowed to have the feelings about it, and you're allowed to feel. But do you want to feel? Come back to this a lot. But do you want to feel good, or do you want to do good? Sometimes doing good means breaking through that, not wanting to go out of the house, or not wanting to admit that you're wrong, or not, you know what I mean? Not feeling like you can do something. Breaking through that is that growth.
And I think that running from accountability, that running from guilt, that running from like admitting where and when you do something wrong, got a huge jolt in the arm when everybody started saying my truth, your truth, instead of like actually using the words that are available. Like, and I think that that's why I'm so
Yeah.
hard stanced on how I speak. It's like, in my opinion, this, and this happened. In the factual parts of this and this happened. There is no in between here.
Yeah.
The facts of the things are the facts of the things, and the facts make you feel and do and react and everything else. Like, let's stop changing English. Let's stop changing the way these things work. This is how this thing works. This is how it works. This is how you go about it. Like, if you sit here and worry about how you're saying things and everything else, I'm sorry. There's no such thing as your truth and my truth. There is the truth and how we're going to handle it. And there's your reactions and my reactions. And one of them is acceptable and one of them is not. At some point, you
Yeah.
go through the situation where it's not chaos. You handle the situation as it goes forward and how things work and how things happen. Like, you don't have to just accept all the bullshit. That's not how it has to be.
Yeah. Being wrong is hard in itself, but then taking it that step further and admitting that guilt, or admitting being wrong, is really one of the hardest things to do. But it is actually one of the most freeing things, in my experience. It has been one of the most freeing things for me. I've you know, we can talk about that pride and ego, that fear of the judgment, and how, and those emotions from that judgment, they make us defensive, so we don't. That's why, that's a lot of the, it goes with that fear, or it goes with that ego. Sorry, the pride, the ego. Right? We don't want that judgment. We don't want the people that we love in our lives to look at us differently. But in reality, they already have a
I
view of
think it's
us.
acceptance. And I think we said this last week.
Mhm.
You know, people are going to have a picture of you regardless of how much they are judgmental or feel this way or that way. Like there is always going to be some level of, thought process in who and what and where and why and how
Right.
these things are moving forward. And like the level that people just genuinely don't understand that, people's acceptance aren't based off of being right and wrong. If you keep proving yourself wrong and you keep saying the wrong things and you're lying to, obscure accountability and everything else, people are going to walk. If your fear is just, everybody walking away, guess what? The quickest way to do that is to just do bad things and then lie about them until you absolutely can't and then say, "Oh, I did it. Everybody has to accept it." I'm sorry. That's do not pass go territory. That's not collecting $200. You're going right to, living a lonely life with 16 cats and, whoever you can get and a Subaru and chilling out with your friends if you have any left.
Yeah, yeah, no, I feel along those lines is that we're fearing that being wrong means being less than. You know what I mean? So we don't want to feel less than. It's discomfort, it's vulnerability. But showing that vulnerability is what builds the character. Um, you know, it builds the character that you need in order to be able to push through that comfort barricade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at some point in life, regardless of when you figure it out or not, you're always going to be vulnerable. Would you rather be vulnerable at a place where you can build together and put things together and work together, or would you rather be vulnerable in front of people that genuinely don't fully fucking understand exactly what's going on? And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be vulnerable at the beginning of a situation than at the end. I would rather admit where I'm right and wrong and figure out every single step at the beginning before everybody else has a chance to judge. So that way I can judge with them instead of, being at the end and being judged by everybody. I don't know. To me, one of those answers is the right one. The other one's the wrong one.
I just really feel like it's better to go after things beforehand. Like if you know things are happening like that, yeah, absolutely, do the things that need to be done um, to change them so that you don't have people having those perceptions of you. And early in life, we don't really think about those things. We're just forging our path. We're blazing our path in the forest. I think that I was thinking that one of the other reasons why people don't admit when they're wrong could be a lot having to do with upbringing or past experiences, because a lot of households, it wasn't safe to admit that you made mistakes for a lot of people. And so I think that um, that pattern makes it so that the young adult or adult that they grow into, um, makes it hard to admit that they're wrong. And when they do get proven with something that they're off on, or they have been shown that is factually true, here they pivot uh, to something else along those lines when the subject was here, to make themselves appear still correct, because they can't admit they were wrong because
And
it led to a place in their life that was unsafe.
and I don't even think like the parents that do that shit are like actually incorrect. They probably perceive. And this is just an assumption. Feel free to tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I feel like if they teach somebody that being wrong and being incorrect is a negative, that they won't do it. But the only thing that it does is it creates you as a kid to run to the shadows and still continue to do what the fuck you want to do. That is all they do. It doesn't change what the fuck you're doing. It just changes where you do it.
Yeah, you gotta like I was just talking to my wife about this morning. You gotta let them know, why the behavior was wrong. Let them know what it really means, that behavior, and then how to change the behavior. We talk about that all the time. There has to be the change. There has to be the going forward and doing something differently.
Like, for the longest time, that religious idea was the reason why I absolutely didn't agree with the church. And I looked at you even confused when you would speak about the Bible or religious things in front of my sisters and stuff like that. It's like, how can somebody who's gay look at the church and be like, okay, that's the answer, but yet they're saying, hey, love the sin, not the sinner. And it's like, oh, wait, that's what they were talking about, is like actually teaching out of the situation and like being able to show you the way out instead of just being like, okay, this is a bad thing. Yeah, there's millions of bad things in the world, but there's a million different ways to handle the situation and be able to perceive it and work through it and figure it out. Those answers aren't just, hiding it in the fucking closet. And I think that that's what a lot of it genuinely means, but I don't think a lot of people genuinely grasp onto that.
Yeah, no, I don't either. It's the I don't think people really put together when they're avoiding accountability the costs of avoiding the accountability. They don't put those two together because they're either trying to get out of something or trying to portray some sort of persona, in my opinion. I think that there is an emotional weight. The costs of avoiding accountability. There's an emotional weight there, the guilt, resentment, and the distance in the relationships that you inevitably, have from not holding accountability when you are not, right. That denial and that deflection keeps us from growing or going forward or connecting with people authentically.
And I think I want to say this way. If you have people around you because you have such a facade that people believe what you're saying is true, when they find out it's a lie and you're left all alone, those people no longer want to be around you. And those things will come to a head. Those things will be proven.
Mhm.
The value that you bring in and take out of their life will be evaluated, whether or not that you perceive it yet. And I don't think a lot of people grasp that. They don't
No.
they don't grasp they are living for right now by the seat of their pants and hoping that everything's okay. When everything's not okay, you're just deflecting, taking a shower from today until tomorrow. Bitch, you're still stinky. Your
Yeah.
ass still smells. And like, that's what lying and not admitting guilt, admitting that you did wrong, trying to fix it and figure out where it comes from is actually doing. You're just forgetting to take a shower. And not only forgetting, you're absolutely accepting doing it because you don't want to put in the work and the effort today.
Right. And you're getting used to the stink. Yep. Absolutely. I think it's cyclical when you're in that, when you're in that cycle. It's you're trying to protect yourself or whatever persona it is that you're trying to show or whatever lie you're trying to protect. Then you're in isolation because people are distancing themselves from you. And then there's the regret. Maybe I shouldn't have, or maybe, if you have a conscience, but then you go back in again and do the same things instead of pivoting and doing things a different way so that your result is different.
Exactly. Like there's so many things that you can do to genuinely fix these situations. And I wish people saw it because it's not just cyclical, it's multiplicative. Every single day that you don't fucking fix it, fixing the fucking situation gets 10 times fucking harder. So the person that didn't want to fucking deal with it when they were depressed or down or just upset or afraid that everybody's going to fucking leave them yesterday realizes that half the fucking world is going to leave them tomorrow because they didn't deal with it yesterday. And it's just like, if you don't realize it, you will soon.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of pause and reflection before you realize there's a lot of defense happening. You don't want when people start when people start getting onto your grift or getting on to, catching on to what's going on, um, in whatever situation it is, uh, it it becomes a time where you you become isolated because they don't want anything to do with you. You have to be able to first of all understand that you're doing it, because I don't think a lot of people understand their bullshit until they actually see their bullshit in front of their face. Like, we both have had things that we have had to bounce back from, in the realm of uh, not admitting when we're wrong. And for me, it was personally, I have to be able to see my bullshit before I can change my bullshit. Nobody can tell me about my bullshit. Maybe there's something that they can say that can spark me to understand. Um, but um, avoiding that is just part of the downfall and the downward spiral. Um, there's actually value in opening up yourself, pointing the fingers inward and saying, how could I have been wrong in the situation, or how could I have dealt with this situation differently?
Yep. And then there's also the reverse of that, which is just as crazy to think about and believe, is things will happen around you, and you'll fucking ignore them because everybody does. The second that you don't call out something that is absolutely incorrect, whether that's factually or like philosophically, or doesn't fit their narrative or doesn't fit what the fuck person they are, that is acceptance. And acceptance also provides the fact that you are guilty for accepting those things into the world. Regardless of how much you want to be a peacemaker, regardless of how much you want to be like, oh, dude, everything's okay. Motherfucker, no, that's not how things work. The second that you accept that shit into the world and you allow that shit around you, you are just as much of a liar. You are perpetrating just as much of a lie as the person that fucking said it, because
Yeah.
you continue it and accept it.
Yeah, it's so interesting these days, on that note, because things just get blown out of proportion. Like, things are so overused that the words don't have meanings anymore. Um, and I think you can plug that right into this situation. It just, you have to be able to separate I did something wrong from I am wrong. It's just like the behavior versus the person. You're not bad. You are not a bad person, but the thing that you did may not have been right. So let's be the person that you want to be. Let's change it moving forward, which means rectifying it now. Apologizing without conditions or excuses goes a long way. You know, I I was wrong and I'm sorry. Not but. There may have been a reason for it. There may have been a reason why you moved the way you moved. You know, but you say I'm sorry. Like, I am genuinely sorry for leaving, just up and leaving my family and going to Utah. Just going. I left you and I left your sisters. I left my little brother hanging. I left my mom hanging. I left your mom hanging. It wasn't it wasn't at all it wasn't at all who I was as a person. And that's I'm truly, truly sorry for. And it's hard to get to a point where you're apologizing. You apologize from the core of your being, to the people that you love, the most and supported you the most in your life, um, without saying the but. It's important.
Well, I think a lot of people genuinely don't know how to separate the fact that I did you wrong and I had feelings towards it. I had a reason why. And both of those things can be true. You could absolutely have a reason why you had to snake somebody. You could have a reason why you did the wrong thing. And it could even be virtuous. It could even be the perfect answer in 99% of circumstances, but this person got hurt. That doesn't mean that you need to avoid the guilt of what you did.
No, no, it's
You
just changing the
still,
way you speak.
like, you can say, I would still do this. I didn't mean to fuck you over, but it's still the right answer.
Right.
And I think people, like, as a whole, regardless of if you're a person or if you're a cat person, still fucking gets it. Like, there is a way that people are supposed to move. There is the way that things are supposed to happen. And sometimes when you accept, hey, I have to do this way, people are going to get hurt, but I need to make sure the people that don't get hurt are the ones that matter the most. Those situations, as long as you're clear and concise and able to explain why, people will allow you redemption.
Right.
But the way that you allow yourself redemption first is admitting why you did something and that you're fucking sorry you hurt people. Because
Without,
guess what? Hurt people. And
yeah.
when they ask you why, you give the answer. Not, I did this and this is why. I'm sorry. That's how you should form the sentence, not, I'm sorry, but this. No, I don't fucking care.
No, you're right. I see where I went wrong, and I should have handled things differently. Period. You know what I mean? If you want to then get into the conversation about the whys and the feelings behind it and the understanding for the other individual, as to, why something happened, then absolutely. But practice that. Practice that accountability language of you are right. I am not right in this situation. I see where I went wrong, and I absolutely could have handled that situation differently. I have been practicing that for the better part of a couple years, more like very closely everyday life for a year now, and it has actually changed the way I move, and it's naturally changed my marriage. It's made it stronger. It's made it blossom in ways that
It makes
I
it easy.
yeah.
Like, if you can expect that from the other person, it makes it easy because you're no longer trying to figure out what the fuck they're trying to say, and they're actually just saying what the fuck they mean. And that becomes really fucking weird. It becomes standoffish. It's like, whoa, wait, what? We're not supposed to be honest.
Yep. And bringing it full circle is difficult. It's very difficult to own your wrongs, and you as a human, need to realize that it doesn't make you smaller. It was very, very hard for me to understand that really recognizing my wrongs, and taking accountability for them actually makes me stronger in life. It
Yeah.
makes me a stronger individual. It makes my feet firmly planted more on the ground, when I recognize where my wrongs were, and I pivot my life and I move differently so that that doesn't happen again, going forward. It actually makes me feel more solid of a
And
person.
it seems like it fixes the things that philosophically a lot of people struggle with. I remember so many people being like, well, I have a lot of rough edges. I have a lot of cuts. I have a lot of things that will poke you and stab you and everything else. You want to know how to fix those? Actually admitting them, actually working through them. And guess what? It rounds off all of those fucking edges that you're so afraid that are going to hurt other people. It's every single way that you've done wrong or have been done wrong by. Admitting those and accepting those and moving forward and fixing those are the way that everybody else around you feels okay.
Yeah, I feel like admitting when you're wrong isn't about losing. It's actually about learning about yourself, learning about your loved ones, but most of all, learning about yourself and learning how the relationship with the person that you're having the issue with is. You learn how to grow and how to blossom that relationship, and by taking and admitting when you're wrong, you understand things differently, and it really does blossom other things in your life, and it makes other things grow that you're not even thinking about growing at that time because you're doing things within yourself. So that's what I say: when it's not about losing, it's actually about learning and growing. um,
And
I really am. Go ahead.
I have a really good way to showcase this. After my son Nick was born, I kind of pulled away from a lot of people. And one of the big ones was my cousin, who's essentially like my sister. She was in my house all the fucking time and everything else. But I finally came forward with abuse that I dealt with, not only by my father, but my cousin as well. Not the cousin I'm talking about, but like somebody in the family and stuff like that. And I was like, I need to figure out what I'm doing, because like I need to figure out how to feel about this. I don't want to make anybody make decisions. I don't want to affect anybody else's life. If they want me, they will find me. And I realized that that's not the way to handle this shit at all. Because honestly, I'm the victim. I don't need to feel uncomfortable and everything else in every single situation. It's not my job to. My job is to let the other people that make the wrong decisions feel uncomfortable for themselves. So when me and my sister came back in contact and everything else, we talked through everything. And I recently told her, I was like, hey, this is what's happened. This is how these things, this is why I pulled away. Like I didn't want to make you make a decision between somebody you saw as your best friend and your brother and somebody who you kept around as a friend. It's not right for me to make you make that choice. It wasn't right for me to put you in that place. And I don't know exactly how to even begin to like apologize for not being there for the things that you needed me for. But I don't know how to handle this. I don't know what actually is the right answer because I don't think there is one. I think the only way that I can genuinely handle this appropriately and correctly is to stand on it, and whatever everybody else makes a choice on is what everybody else makes a choice on. Because fuck that other third party. I don't fucking care. You're a piece of shit. You're getting the fuck out of my way and you're going to stay the fuck away because that's how it should be. There is zero reason for it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I encourage everyone to take a look at their life. If you're really trying to move forward in a different direction, if you're trying to be a light, if you're trying to unfuck the fuckery that you've caused in your life, I really do encourage you to bring it full circle and take a look at a situation where you might owe someone honesty or an apology or an I was wrong, um, without anything else. Just an I'm sorry, I was wrong. I wasn't moving in the way that I that met with the core of my being. You don't need to go that far, but that's where I was coming from. My core self was not who I was when I was doing all these things that now I know made me who I am, and they taught me a lot of lessons, and now I understand why they
And I think
happened.
that's and I think that's why in AA and NA and everything else they tell you, go to the people that you've hurt and you've wronged and apologize.
Yeah.
It's not because they should accept it, because most people shouldn't, because you've done a lot of fucked up things. But it's working on that accountability of like, oh my God, there are actual people that I've fucking hurt. When you suffer with severe mental illness, when you suffer with all of this bullshit, if you don't have the bullshit thrown in your face, you cannot realize what the fuck problems you've caused. There is a genuine disparity there. And so many people genuinely don't want to fucking hear it because they don't want to give a fuck. They don't want to see the problems that they've caused. They don't want to see the shit that they've done. Because when they see the shit that they've done, they say, oh fuck, everybody should have left me. Everybody shouldn't care. And then it invalidates them as a person. And like learning to accept that you've done wrong in this world. Nobody is fucking right. I'm not virtuous. A pope isn't virtuous. A fucking religious people aren't virtuous. Everybody has fucked up. So fucking stand on it. Fix it. Do as best as you can to be the best person you can be and be fucking honest. That's why I say honesty is the first fucking step to owning your fucking shit. If you always do not fucking lie, and actually don't fucking lie, you don't just lie to protect yourself, you fucking weirdos. You're able to take the first step in actually being fucking right. Like, and being right is the first part of being a human.
Being wrong might be that first step in being right. But you got to take it. You got to walk through it because you did that shit, and you got to own that shit, and you got to stand on that shit because you did that shit. So turn around and face that shit, and then turn back around and use it as a stepping stone to get over that shit and move differently.
ADHD is bad today. I tried to figure out the song lyrics to that song "Turn Around" and I couldn't remember them word for word. And I absolutely was going, after you said "Turn Around," I was going to start singing the song. Don't even know it. I tried.
The
Um,
slow one,
Turn around. Yeah, I tried,
every
but
now and then. Oh,
I
goodness
tried,
gracious.
but like it's just it's depressing because there's so many people that genuinely could have an amazing life if you just admitted where you're wrong. Because it might not catch you today, it might not catch you tomorrow, but when you fucking need somebody, they might not fucking be there.
Yeah, and karma will catch you. Karma does not forget. And you'll get smacked in the face for everything you put out in the world. You're going to get smacked in the face 3 times for it. That's my belief. That's my belief.
It just it feels like the world is a fucking bank account. And I don't think a lot of people understand this analogy, but like you could work your entire life and you're still not at zero. If you're fucking up, if you're doing the wrong things, if you're on purpose hurting people, that bank account's not going to be fucking 100. It's going to be fucking zero. It's going to be negative. The more you fucking hurt people, the more you poke people, the closer to that zero you get. The more you fuck up, the closer to that zero you get. The only way to get self-esteem is to do esteemable acts. Do things that make you fucking happy and make the people around you okay and happy. Makes everybody feel good. That's the only way that life works.
The ripple effect is real. So you got to work on yourself and you got to do the things, you got to treat yourself well. And once you learn how to treat yourself well, then you can learn how to treat other people well. Some people weren't brought up in families where they got treated well. And I happen to be blessed that I was, regardless of the things that I thought were wrong. I was treated well in my childhood, and a lot of people were not. In a lot of ways that makes it really hard for them to make these changes because it was punishable when they were a child. But you have to break through as an adult and realize that you're not that person anymore. That is not your reality if you don't want it to be your reality. And you just need to take control and admit that there may be something within yourself that needs a little bit of tweaking so that you can have that ripple effect throughout the world and make people feel good about being around you. And and that will just help. It just does so much when you just make a couple changes within yourself. Like I said, the whole garden around you just starts to grow.
Exactly. And like there are so many things that like can showcase this. And it's like, oh my God, well, how the fuck does that work? And it's like, well, the first part of it is making sure that not everything's in the shadows. If you're a parent, sitting there and punishing them because they do something isn't the answer. Making them feel like just being wrong isn't the answer. Show them how to fix it. Show them how to do the right thing instead of making them fucking hide it. The things that you should get punished for aren't doing the wrong thing. It's being immoral, you fucking idiots. That's how things work.
Yeah.
It's the lying, it's the betrayal, it's the hurting people on purpose. That is when a teenager should get in trouble, not for disobeying or questioning something. You shouldn't have things taken away because I ask you a fucking question. That's abuse. That's control. You're trying to raise somebody who worked on Henry Ford's fucking assembly line, not somebody who's going to lead the fucking world. And why we do need both people. The people asking what and why are so much more important than somebody who can mindlessly do something.
Yep. But you got to be rooted. At the beginning of it all, you have to be rooted. So what are you
Yeah.
rooted in?
Teach them. Teach them how honesty works. Teach them how looking at admitting where they're wrong and where they're right and having those conversations and accepting the outcomes of them is the way to actually have it. But also teach them that, the world doesn't give a fuck. Some people genuinely just do not care if they're right or wrong, and they will just make it so that way you feel like they are right always. Go do the things. Because regardless of how everybody else is, you making sure that you're right and you're doing everything as correct as you possibly can, and you're admitting where you're wrong, heals everybody. Guys, it's been a lonely road. Make sure that, regardless of if you've met up with somebody or not, you do everything you can be to fix you, because fixing you is the most important thing. If you're not healed, you're going to hurt people. And if you're going to hurt people, you don't know exactly how that's going to play out. You might end up losing somebody that matters to you more than you could ever really imagine.
Or everybody that matters to you. It's a lonely road.
So put it together, make it to the next lamppost, because guess what? It might be lit. Or you might be leading for others. Those little shitheads that are behind you thoroughly might think that you're a fucking superhero. And if you let them down, it's a hard way back.
Yeah.
Keep walking.